The latest Pompey news, updates every day from the Pompey Sound news desk.
The following report comes from an agency named Real Madrid News. Real Madrid has a knack for spotting top-tier talent before they become household names, and it looks like a new player has popped up on their radar. According to a recent report from Defensa Central, the Spanish Giants are keeping a close eye on 19-year-old winger Min Yang, who's currently turning heads on loan at Portsmouth from Tottenham Hotspur. And this isn't just a passing glance. Madrid is reportedly already crunching the numbers on a potential deal to figure out what it would take to convince Spurs to let the young attacker go. The talk is of a structured €7 million offer, with €5 million paid up front and another €2 million in performance-based add-ons. Yang's rise has been built on performance, not hype. His time at Portsmouth has given him the consistent minutes he needs, and his game has been steadily improving. While his stats of 2 goals and 1 assist don't tell the whole story, it's his on-field presence that has captured Madrid's attention. They're impressed with his ability to beat defenders one-on-one, his explosive pace with the ball, and his confidence to drive straight at the back line. His current market value is sitting around €3 million, so Madrid's proposed bid would be well over that. Even so, prying him away from Tottenham will be a challenge. Spurs have a reputation for being tough negotiators and have shown in the past that they don't get pressured into selling their players easily. Crucially, Madrid doesn't see Yang as an immediate solution for the first team. The plan would be to bring him into the Castilla squad first. This would shield him from the intense spotlight of the Bernabeu, giving him time to adapt to Spanish football and learn the club's system without all the pressure.
Well, all I would say is that they haven't seen him in his last half a dozen or so trot-outs for Pompey because he has not been turning heads. If he has been turning heads, he's turned 1 or 2 heads away because he hasn't gone one-on-one that I can recall with anybody. Maybe he has sort of thought about it and maybe had a tentative go at it, but for whatever reason, he has not been taking his man on, which is one of the things that we look for in a wide attacker. Especially if they then get a cross in or a shot in as a result of taking on and beating their man. It could be a confidence thing. It certainly clearly isn't a skill thing or a speed thing. He just needs to have it in his heart to take on a guy knowing that 18,000 people are going to go, oh, if it doesn't quite work out. That can be the mental challenge. But if he's got Real Madrid running around in his head, if he's aware of any conversations that are actually taking place about him with one of the world's biggest football names, that's unsettling. He doesn't want to get injured. If he's got a prospect of running out in the white shirt, albeit the white shirt of the Real Madrid reserves to begin with, or youth team even, that's going to be a distraction. That's going to be in his head for sure. However, we now look at Yang in a slightly different light, don't we? And if there is anything in this conversation, Pompey will be in the loop. And we may well see him starting again on Saturday, as much as anything else, now on future reputation, which can happen.
John Mousinho is hopeful that Blackburn has lifted Pompey's curse of the set piece and that dead ball coach Michael Doyle is free from criticism.
I'm really pleased for Michael, in particular, who has been working hard with the boys to make sure the delivery is right, to make sure we attack it well. We've had a big focus over the past 6 to 8 weeks on defensive set plays. Actually, it's even longer than that, since the Norwich game, where we conceded a couple. Set pieces make a huge difference. That was the difference in Saturday's game, where we've actually gone and won it off the back of a set piece and defended pretty well. That's where we haven't been good enough this year. Not just on set pieces, but in tight games where we maybe haven't performed quite as well as we could do. I don't mind saying it, in my 3 years here, particularly the first full season in League One, we'd come away with winning games because we'd just score a set piece. That's what the better sides in the league do. We just haven't had that and have actually ended up conceding and losing games time and time again. We need to really keep nailing down the importance of it. We have been anyway, but there has to be a case for attacking the ball properly and then keeping the ball out of the opposite box.
Amen to all of that. Would just add a small note of caution though, and it's this. According to AI, as of today, in the current 2025-26 season, Blackburn Rovers have scored just 5 goals from set pieces in the Championship. And although AI says that they have caught attention for their innovative and unusual corner kick routines this season, despite this tactical creativity, they are among the teams with the fewest set-piece goals in the league. A majority of their goals this season have come from open play. So, whilst we kept a clean sheet set-pieces-wise, it seems that the team that we were playing aren't very good at set-pieces, or at least not very successful at set-pieces, or maybe by being overly creative at corners, they're depriving themselves of the good old opportunity of getting the ball in underneath the goalkeeper and seeing if you can get somebody on the other end of it, which is good old English, especially Championship football, at its very best. However, let's again keep our fingers crossed. Maybe we've got the set-piece hoodoo behind us and we will start scoring from corners more often and also outlying free kicks more often, and perhaps even more important, defending set pieces, in particular corner kicks, right throughout the game from start to finish.
Recent developments in Germany have caused antennae to twitch in and around Fratton Park. Second Division FC Nürnberg have allowed 19-year-old Crystal Palace prospect Hindalo Mustafa to return to the United Kingdom ahead of his scheduled end-of-loan period. Mustafa is believed to have been a target of serious interest to Pompey during the summer transfer window. John Massinho and Pompey colleagues were seen at numerous Crystal Palace youth fixtures, but came home with Franco Ume but not Mustafa. The strapping 19-year-old has been with Crystal Palace since the age of 8, progressing spectacularly towards the first team, and even being voted Crystal Palace's Under-21 Player of the Year, while still in his teens. In his time in Germany he only managed 2 first-team appearances, and has drawn faint praise from Nuremberg's distinguished coach, ex-German international Miroslav Klose, saying that he was impressed by Mustafa as a footballer. Klose went on to suggest that his attitude was less than that required by the club. Whether or not Mustafa's return to Selhurst Park will signal a rekindling of Pompey's interest, or whether the recruitment team choose to heed the hints of the German coach, remains to be seen.
The fact that Pompey made a number of visits to Crystal Palace to look at their youth setup and their youth team playing didn't have nothing to do with the fact that that setup is geographically very convenient compared from the point of view of getting there from Portsmouth compared to a lot of other teams. And Crystal Palace famously have a pretty good youth setup and will be looking for, and will always be looking for, opportunities to send their players in their late teens, early 20s out on loan in order to get them match sharp and also to make an assessment about their prospects playing for their first team. I think the piece that we just heard simplified things a little bit to say that, or suggest that, John Massinho and the team went up to have a look at Mustafa and came home with Franco Ume. I'm quite certain that it wasn't that they didn't want to come home empty-handed, kind of did a bit of window shopping and wanted to have something gift-wrapped when they got back from their journeys. I'm sure it's a much more complicated business than that. And as far as attitude and discipline goes, which is the other word that I've read that Miroslav Klose has to apply in a negative way to Mustafa, suggests that punctuality, possibly general attitude. His general attitude was one of the reasons why they decided to let him go back to Crystal Palace. But that doesn't mean to say he's not a good footballer. And just because Miroslav Klose decided that he didn't want to carry on working with him, doesn't mean to say that there isn't something there that John Massinho and Rich Hughes and the rest of the guys can cultivate. So as we head towards January, there at least is one sort of name in the frame, as Brucey used to put it.